Hi everyone, so today I wanted to share this latest layout with you. I recorded this a while ago, but it's just taken me some time to do the editing on it. So I'm just showing you through a 6.5 by 6.5 paper pad from Kaiser Craft's Kaleidoscope collection, and I am on a bit of a mission at the moment to use up some of my smaller paper pads, so pulled out a couple of sheets from this paper pad that I wanted to use. So I've just got myself a craft doily there, and I'm just spraying that with some gold glimmer mist that I made myself. So it's just a little bit of gold paint, a metallic gold paint, and some water mixed together in a little spray bottle, and it just gives a nice shimmer to things. So I'm just putting that to the side to dry, and then I've got my background paper here, which is also from Kaiser Craft, but from a different collection, and I can't remember which one, but it's just a sort of distressed wood paneling paper, so plenty of collections have this sort of style. And I've pulled out 3 papers that I want to use from that paper pad, and you can see the blue one at the front there. I've actually I'm going to use that as a photo mat for my 4x6 photo, so I've trimmed that down so it's going to frame the photo, and also used a border punch across the bottom, just a scalloped border punch. And these 2 pieces that I'm adhering now, I've left as the full 6.5 by 6.5. So I had a fairly good idea about how I wanted this layout to work. I knew I wanted to layer up some paper, I wanted to mount the photo, and I wanted to use those butterflies that you can see to the sort of top right of the layout. And they came out of that paper pad as well. It was a whole sheet of glossy butterflies on a piece of paper, so I just picked out 6 that I trimmed down and cut those out off camera. And I also wanted to use some vellum pieces that you can see above the layout there, which are from the craft store. So I wanted to sort of have the layout go, you know, the design elements of the layout go from the bottom left to the top right, and I was going to use those vellum pieces as well as some things that I cut out of that paper pad as the title. So you can see I'm just starting to lay that out now. I did ink the bottom of the photo mat with the vintage photo distress ink, just because I thought it was getting a little bit lost and wanted to give it a little bit more dimension. So just adjusting that so that I can fit that little vellum piece off to the side. I was originally going to use that vellum piece for some journaling, but I don't have a slick surface writer, and so just decided to use it as a little bit of a design element. Now, one of the things I did find a bit tricky was adhering the vellum onto this layout without letting the adhesive show. So you can see I just put one strip of adhesive or double-sided tape onto that piece that I just adhered down, because I was tucking it behind the photo. But some of the pieces are actually going to sit on top of the layout, so you do need to be careful about where you put your adhesive. Or you can get special adhesive that doesn't show through, but I definitely don't have any, so I just needed to be mindful of where I would actually put the adhesive so that it wouldn't show through the vellum. I'm just adding this little box down the bottom, or rectangle, for journaling, because now I've decided I'm not going to be able to journal on that piece of vellum. I need somewhere else to just write a few words about the photo, and it's a sort of cut piece that was left over from a project lifestyle card from the same collection by Kaiser Craft, so knew it was going to work really well. And now I'm just fussy cutting out those tiles that I cut out earlier from the paper pad, and originally I just cut a rectangle around those tiles, probably first and foremost because I was feeling a little bit lazy, but I also thought I might get away with just having it in that style, but decided it would look better as a title if I trim the tiles directly right around the edge, and then gave some dimension to it by adding some adhesive foam squares behind it. So just fiddling around now with where I might put that title. and I'm just grabbing the foam squares now. So that was sort of my idea of the layout, which is why I was able to pre-cut and pre-prepare a few things before I pressed record. But then you do see me playing around with the vellum pieces a little bit and trying to figure out placement and what I might include on the layout and what I might not include. And so yeah, there's definitely still a bit for me to do to be happy with the way the layout turns out. It's quite a flat layout as well. There's not a lot of dimension to it, and so I do try and add, you know, as I said, the ink down the bottom and a few other bits and pieces to try and give it that perception of depth as opposed to the flat layout where it's just papers stuck down. And then I also add, you know, those extra vellum pieces, tuck things in places, and just, yeah, try and add a little bit more interest to the layout that way as opposed to very three-dimensional items on the layout. So you can see me tucking in some vellum pieces there, and just playing around with where I might add extra things. I think it turns out okay though. You know, I didn't add any enamel dots or anything like that, which I normally would, so I could have gone ahead and done that, or some mist splatters or something like that, following that line from bottom left to top right. But in the end, you'll see that as I add those butterflies that I cut out, that it actually, you know, gives it enough dimension to make an interesting layout. So I can't remember whether I mentioned, but those butterflies that I did cut out were from the Kaisercraft kaleidoscope pad that I talked about, and those butterflies are quite glossy, so I just picked ones that I thought would go with the papers that I'd chosen, and yeah, picked 6 off the pad, so I think there was like 20 on the 6.5 by 6.5 sheet, and so I just picked 6 that I thought would coordinate well with the colour scheme I had in mind, and trim those out before I press record on the camera, because it's really boring to watch me cut butterflies out. So just going for my stapler there, you know, if I can staple vellum down, I generally do, but because those other pieces that are on the layout are further into the page, I've only got a small stapler, I definitely couldn't staple those pieces down, so I had to look at different ways to adhere those. Just playing around with whether I can get that heart or those butterflies, the vellum butterflies, onto the page, but they don't end up making it onto the layout, and neither does the word celebrate or the other vellum die cut piece that's off to the right hand side there. But yeah, I pulled them out, and it was good that I didn't actually have to go into my stash to pull out any extra supplies. Yeah, pretty much what I pulled out was all I used, which is nice. Sometimes, and probably one of the reasons why this video is so quick, so I've recorded it and sped up to twice the speed. So the layout, to pull it all together, you know, took me probably just over 22 minutes, and probably took me 5 minutes to pull out the all the supplies and do the pre-prep cutting and things like that. So it was quite a quick layout, came together quite easily. I think sometimes we, you know, have so many supplies that we kind of get lost in the, you know, the absolute best piece of paper or the absolute best title, or you know, and it takes us a long time to make decisions because we've got so many options. So it was really good to be able to limit myself to a few supplies and just go for it. And you know, that's probably why I played around with the placement a lot, because you know, I was trying to make the supplies that I pulled out work for the layout as opposed to trying to find the perfect supplies for the layout. But I think it was an interesting way to scrapbook and help me sort of, you know, challenge myself to be a little bit more creative in the scrapbooking process. So if that's something that you know, you find that happens when you're scrapbooking, is you can never make a decision about where you want things to go, maybe, you know, try the method of just pulling out a limited set of supplies and you know, building your creativity that way, as opposed to, you know, exposing yourself to all the supplies that you currently have. So this video is sort of coming to a close. I'll adhere those butterflies, give them a bit of dimension behind the wings. You will see some still shots at the end. The other thing that I decide to do once the camera stops rolling is to add some liquid pearls in little dots across the bottom of the scalloped edges, just to give a little bit more interest to that scallop edge. I thought it kind of got lost once I added everything in, and I also added the same liquid pearls to the butterflies, some little dots to kind of make those butterflies stand out as well. But you can see a close-up at the end with the still shots. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Sorry it's taken me so long to get another video out, but hopefully things will be back on track again soon. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more layouts, and yeah, thanks again for watching.